Hello and welcome back to another video, and it's time for part 3. You've been waiting long for this. It's been a busy week, but anyway, just before we get to that, there's a couple of things on the Reddit page for the Intellivision Amico, not the official one, even though the official one's turning into a bit of a dumpster fire at the moment. Physical box owners now get a thank you page when scanning the RFID, which prompts them to buy more box bundles, which were nearly sold out a full month ago. So, I mean, you won't be able to read that on here, and I had to sort of squint up close to it. But yeah, it's just pretty much saying, can we get zooming in? Thanks for purchasing a box edition game for the Amico. We sure appreciate you. And hope you enjoy playing. Stay a while, hang out, and look around. We're glad you're here. And then an advert for more of their crap. So, yeah, that's what you'll be able to get. Oh well, yeah, what a thrill, eh? And then also, it is without question cult of personality surrounding Tommy that drives this. Watch as he yells, acts goofy, spins around in circles, all while everyone videos him and laughs. Versus the actual Amico, the action on the actual Amico, gameplay of which is just a vehicle shooting or slowing down. So, yeah, this is. I'll only show a bit of this, but basically it's Tommy doing playing Moon Patrol. I mean, they did basically Tommy is going back to Massachusetts. The lawyers are telling him he can go home. So, yeah, I won't sing anymore. Well, you could say that wasn't singing either. So, there are two events in Massachusetts, and this is the only footage I've been able to find so far. This is from the Atari Creep, and so I'll only show a little bit of this. But Tommy's basically showing he's playing Moon Patrol in there, just the first level of Moon Patrol. So that's all that seems to be actually finished. Meanwhile, someone on the other screen is playing Evil Knievel. So they've not advanced any further. These games have been shown before. We can't see whether Moon Patrol's still got the Star Fox text at the beginning. Maybe they've taken it out, but then, you know, Tommy Tallarico, so you never know. And we'll just play a bit of this, and you'll see why it's a bit of a disaster.
Oh, now we got some firepower. Now we're playing with the gas.
He's playing the game. He's got all his attention. So I just put the noise up and then you can't hear me. He's playing the game. It's getting all his attention. He's giving it all his attention.
Hold on, big jump.
What an absolute fucking tool. So he just shows to play the game. You don't even need to actually look at the damn screen. And he thinks that with you speeding up, slowing down, jumping, shooting forward, shooting above at the aliens. He said before that he's turning that into a 4-player multiplayer experience. Absolute bullshit artist. And then where is it up here? Towards the end of the video, just before Atari Creep swears. But anyway, you'll see how he deals with his controller.
Brutal. No! Oh!
Hey! That's how it's done.
Yes!
Durability right there.
Oh!
You want to know about the durability of an Amico controller?
Yes!
There you go. That's how we roll.
Nice!
Look at that. That's how we roll.
So that's a £60 controller. So you can just throw them about apparently. Dear oh dear. So we're going to get to part 3 of the interview. And Slopes, he said he's definitely not an inventor. He may be an inventor, I don't know. He's definitely not an investor. Definitely not. But if that's the case, then he's insanely overexcited for the Amico, as if it's October 2018 and it's just been announced to the public. When in reality it's November 2021, the Amico has been delayed 3 times. Tommy Tallarico has proved that one of the things hindering Intellivision the most is Tommy Tallarico. And in the first hour of this interview, Slopes failed to ask any hard or difficult questions, other than posing the one questioning how the NFT and blockchain security work. Tommy didn't have an answer, and Slopes just left that one to just roll down the slope and into the sea. I mean, to me, the Amico seemed like an interesting project initially, but it was $150. But then Tommy's tried to overcomplicate it along the way, claiming things don't work as well as he'd like, and so wants to redo things from scratch. And I think he's realised it's not ever going to come out, so he'll just try and get more investors' money in, and pull down the shutters and run off with the money. And as I said before, I've not watched any other Slopes interviews, but this Amico is clearly now an absolute scam. And the man who runs the Kickscammer series is completely oblivious to the fact that he's watching a scam happen right in front of him. Unbelievable. Hey-ho. And I don't think he's keen on my videos either, but still, if we ever meet, I hope we can laugh about it and share a beer. Well, one beer each. I'm not drinking from the same cup. And when it comes to the Amico and how much unnecessary energy is expended on NFT and blockchain nonsense. COP26. I call this every single year. A bunch of paid corporate shills, including Greta Thunberg and David Attenborough, go to a baking hot location, talk a load of blah 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 about how they're going to tell Mother Nature to stop doing what she does naturally, and they'll save the Earth. And then nothing happens. Well, I say baking hot. Except someone made a mistake this time and put Glasgow instead of Greece. But hey, they've got Egypt next year. You know, I mean, when they start, they claim they'll have a deal by 6 p.m. on the Friday at the end of 2 weeks. But that's not enough for these con artists. Why book an expensive hotel for 14 days when you can have it for 16 days at our expense? And then they claim they get nothing done in that time up until the final hour, which they could have just done on day one, when they come up with something that looks good to the climate knobbers with their Fridays for Future banners, but has zero substance. And it isn't legally binding anyway, because look at the Glacier National Park in Montana. In 2010, they put up signs stating that all the glaciers would be gone by 2020. Then in 2020, they replaced the sign with one that has no date, because the glaciers are still there and they're perfectly fine. And then we can also laugh at the likes of Chris Packham, who tells us the Earth is burning up, mistaking natural forest fire for arson, and that the world will end in 50 years, etc. The mainstream media suck on this teat. And if you try to reason with these clowns, as David Bellamy did in the 80s or the 90s, you just get frozen out. But if you believe con men like David Attenborough, then Tommy Tallarico would also like you to invest $10,000 in the Amico. Also, those Amico boxed editions, they're also 100% recyclable, because as soon as you receive them, you realise they're a pile of worthless shit. But in the end, for this COP26 thing, they come up with a revised deal about how coal will be phased down, not phased out. So nothing will change then. And then the UN chief is he says the world is still knocking on the door of a climate catastrophe. It really, like the Amico cult, this is just some religious cult bullshit. It's just some, you've seen how religious cults work. They just tell you the world's going to end and shit like that. And that's what all these knobbers are up to. Absolutely unfucking believable. Anyways, so we'll continue with the interview. And we're up to about 57:06, I think, where we stopped last time. So just rewound very slightly a few seconds. We're at the likes of 85 upvotes, whatever it is, vote up, and 141 dislikes. But as I said before, dislikes help engagement for a video, but there's always the, certain people who just go and throw the dislikes. Anyway, let's see where we get to.
Actually, because of the lashing.
You haters, look what you've done.
Well, hey, it's true.
Have I mentioned this before? Pinstripe, I think I did. Slopes is so good at not holding back on questions. It makes me like him more. Yeah, he's asking all the hard questions.
It's true. Unfortunately, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, no. And obviously, on the final one on the recyclable thing is there was a bit of confusion as to why it was even brought up about these being. Did
because you can just throw them in the bin as soon as you receive them. Sorted.
Was it more the fact that the packaging is recyclable, or the fact that these are compostable?
Excuse me. And even whether or not they are recyclable, because it's all full of plastic and all kinds of shit in them. 100% recyclable. Doubt it.
As in,
No,
like,
yeah, that was another weird one too. And it's funny, Dan. I'm sure you can
Well, Tommy knows all about being weird.
appreciate this. One side was screaming at us because how dare you use blockchain? Bad for the environment. Bad.
Is that his wanking hand?
And then when we say, hey, these are good for the boxes are good for the environment, it's not going to kill any dolphins or seals, people are like, that's so stupid. Why would you do that? You know, so I was like,
I get it.
You can't win. You can't win. No, but
Tommy's just this is this is a time when Tommy really just should not be saying anything. He's just talk, what is he on about? We're not killing dolphins. Oh, God. Well, any games I buy don't kill dolphins because, you know, when I'm not playing them, they go on a shelf. And I've not invited any dolphins round. Oh, unbelievable.
yeah, it's funny because people are like thinking like, oh, these are just going to start to fall apart in 3 years because they're No,
That's if people keep them for 3 years. The boxes don't even close now, so they're falling apart now.
no. Basically, all that means is if someone threw them out if they got buried in a desert like the ET cartridges did.
Everything besides
Like they deserve to do.
it's the coin, I assume.
Yeah, of course, right.
Yeah.
Exactly, right. But the that's why we were very specific to say packaging, because the coin obviously is not.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I suppose the same goes for the cards as well.
The packaging's good for the environment, folks. The way it's made from recyclable material, you know, it's not.
Who gives a shit? You buy a game to keep it. You don't buy a game to... seriously, you don't buy a game just to then throw it away. It's just absolute horseshit.
Not going to disintegrate in your hands in 3 weeks. Well, why would you care about the environment? Well, I mean, is that what
Tommy just cares about the cash.
you're asking me? You know, so yeah. So to clear that up, it's using recyclable material. It's using stuff that.
So I do a lot of things. Why make a... What makes you unique about that? If loads of companies use recyclable packaging, just Tommy's making a mountain out of a molehill. He's trying to make himself sound like the savior of the planet, when he's just doing something that a lot of companies do already. And you do get idiots who say, "Oh, why does fruit in the supermarket come in plastic? Because there's hot lights in the supermarket, and it stops it melting under the hot lights." There was a time when near me, the local Morrisons tried. Oh, it's horrible. They had normal cucumbers. They have normal cucumbers and large cucumbers, which are just basically slightly bigger, but just cost twice as much. And for a time, they had normal cucumbers with no plastic packaging on, and so I ended up having to buy the large ones for a while, because the regular ones just shriveled up under the hot lights. They're fucking horrible. And that's what you get when you get all these fucking environmental nutters going, oh, just save the planet and blah, blah, blah. People who go on about saving the planet, throw away all your tech and go and live in a fucking cave with no connection to the internet and no connection to the outside world, and give the rest of us a fucking break.
That if it ever makes it into the ocean, it's not a problem. You know?
Yeah.
Again, you'd think people would be, heralding us for that. Oh, look, those guys are eco-conscious. But no, instead it's brought up as a negative and used against us.
I'm sure many a gamer collector out there, and yourself as well, Tommy, when you hear about all of these, we're using up too much plastic, and you sit in an office and you look around and you're like, oh dear.
Right.
I am surrounded wall to wall with Mega Drive games and Switch games and everything else. So I mean, I understand the message.
Right?
Yeah.
Burkero 1 says, where are the games, Tommy? Keep seeing the same games. Are we still getting 20 at launch? Well, we're not getting a launch, that's the problem.
Right. Okay. Before we go on to, I want to talk more about I want to try and squeeze some information about the upcoming Earthworm Jim and what have you. But let's just finish off on this RFID stuff and NFT stuff before we carry on. So correct me if I'm wrong. Besides the extra security that's on there that you've just said about, on every card, HTTP, Intellivision.com, RFID, blah, 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 biplanes, and then it will say hashtag. Right? So if I've already gone to that website, it just says thank you for purchasing the game, what have you.
Now that's going to change in the future, but right now it just takes you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, the plot thinnens.
It seems like they all direct to the same one, if I'm not mistaken.
The same.
It's because there's no game. There's no game on the website because the games haven't been made. This is a scam. Selling you boxes for games which don't exist and will never exist. I mean, you're buying games that just don't. You're not buying games. You're just buying boxes with the promise of game coming, but it's going to be a broken promise. That there's nothing coming, And there was people moaning about how, it's you get the Nintendo or PlayStation, they'll sell games before the console comes out, but maybe about a week or two, but never, not a year in advance, or maybe never. It's just that's where this is a scam. Start again. Why is this starting?
The same URL that it changes to. I sent it to someone earlier.
It takes you to the main page, I think, of our site.
Yeah, it takes you to a website that says thank you. Box
we're
dash edition dash thank dash you. Anyway,
right. We're redirecting that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, with it just saying hashtag, when you tap it, is it not just an RFID reader, but it's also an RFID writer? Will it actually change the URL?
I expect that card to be able to be writable as well. Fucking hell. It's just a little piece of plastic. It's got it's a barcode at best.
I'm not at liberty to discuss because I would need to talk to my security guys.
That's a no then.
To know whether or not I should answer that question.
Okay.
Well, Tommy has to talk to people before he answers any questions. He should have been doing that for a long time.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. It just something came to me. I'm like, hang on, if they've all got the exact same URL, surely when you tap it, it must change that URL to make it unique to that game.
Tommy's on rock bottom again with Homer Simpson. Tommy, your silence is only incriminating you further.
To that one person, sorry, that one person.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable answering that one without talking to my security guy.
Oh, he's finally realised he should finally shut his yap once in a while. He should have been doing that for fucking months.
First on
that. It's completely fair enough. Like I say, this is something that
Slopes just lets it happen as usual.
People, I've had a couple of people have been asking different questions around that, and I think I've tried to mix it together to ask that one question. I think I've got that in there. One thing I was surprised about is because a lot of people are comparing this quite funnily to the similarly named amiibos, and amiibos.
And of course, there's a whole black market for amiibos.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What they're doing. And people need to maybe look into this as well also, is that the RFID, or also called NFCs, not to be confused with NFTs.
See, Tommy's just complicating things further and further. If you just had a fucking cartridge slot and or with an SD card slot and just put everything on SD cards, it'd been a whole lot fucking simpler, and he's just tried to overcomplicate shit when he didn't need to. And he claims this is going to be easy for soccer mums to understand. God.
But the RFID technology.
Actually, Sin Killer says deer in the headlights. Yeah, definitely. And on the run says the RFID cards 98% complete. Just parodying where Tommy says like the UI is 80% complete and the back end, the console is 90% complete and nothing's finished. Excuse me.
That is used in the amiibo is different.
Here I am. Back up again.
But the RFID technology that is used in the Amiibo is different from ours. I'll say that as well too.
How? Isn't RFID the same in everything? They put RFID in tags in food in the supermarket, so that once you've bought it, once it's gone under the scanner, then you can walk out and it doesn't set off the alarms. Sure, RFID is RFID. Tommy's trying to make this sound, and people who know better about these things than me have just said there's very little in an RFID thing anyway. It's just a very small bit of information. Tommy's trying to make it sound like there's some super duper secret thing in there, and there isn't.
The funny thing about that is the fact that I don't know if you've got any Amiibos, but the Amiibos seem to have more security on the packaging, because you cannot take, and I haven't got an Amiibo case to hand, but you can't take an Amiibo case, put it on your Wii U or your Switch or whatever it may be, because there's something underneath the Amiibo, like this little bit of metal or something.
Yeah, no, it's a little metal thing, yeah.
But we
could have put...
I think Tommy's got metal in his brain.
Those in ours as well. But we kind of didn't need to because of the system. I have one right here, in fact. This was one of the demos, so that when, and it wouldn't be that color, but it was the demos that we were given. And when you put it underneath, so you put that in the card, you can't read it. We could do that. We decided not to because of the way we're doing stuff, we didn't need to.
Which means what exactly? It's just Tommy just waffling as well, just talking out of his fucking arse.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
But I think that's important to. I think what I said though is important to repeat for those out there. Let me again state the RFID, the way that RFID is being used in Amiibos is different because what the Amiibos.
Oh, he's repeating it again. Just I like ATM's thing. There's actually a line from The Simpsons where Bart says it. It's referring to Superman. It's actually in a deposition. Tommy's going to fold faster than the Flash on laundry day. The SEC is already on alert. I know The Simpsons gag is Superman. Same thing, but Tommy's just going to fall apart when he's actually called to account for this. That's why I think he's put his house and his Ferrari in someone else's name. And come January, February, they'll close all this down, and he'll just fuck off with all the money. And everyone who pre-ordered, everyone who invested, they'll get fuck all out of it, and the whole thing will shut down, and that's the end of it. The end.
In that Skylanders and stuff, what was that? 10 years ago? Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably not far off.
Well, I got news for you, folks. Technology changes over 10 years, so it gets better.
Yeah.
Really? There's not enough room for people who know about these things. There's not enough room for much else to go in the RFID thing. So, that technology doesn't change.
Okay, no, that's cool. Like I say, I mean, the whole Amiibo thing gets brought up a lot. Like you'll be able to buy these games off AliExpress and stuff. And the fact that you've mentioned in this call about the fact that there is extra security on the cards that the RFID readers aren't picking up, then that would, I suppose, eradicate any kind of concerns in that regard. So let's actually talk a bit more about more positive stuff here now. Let's talk about the games.
It's all good. It's all good. Look, I appreciate that people are so interested in knowing about all the stuff we're doing. I get it. And I just hope that people can also appreciate that. Just
another pause there. Sin Killer says, as someone who works professionally with NFC, I have no idea what advancements he is on about. Yes, this is it. People in the know, people who deal with this kind of thing daily, including what I've heard people say elsewhere, there's no other change with the RFID thing. So he's just talking a whole load of shit.
That there's certain things that, we've learned over time.
As I said, has been said elsewhere, every time he says, it's just, it's going to be another fucking lie,
People are so interested in knowing about all the stuff we're doing. I get it. And I just hope that people can also appreciate that, that there's certain things that, we've learned over time that is probably not great to talk about, because it's, unfortunate.
It's just so that you learn not to say certain things. Yeah, learn to say everything. Everything he says is things he shouldn't be saying.
Actually, used in a drama or negative way, which is too bad. But
no. I mean, and like I say, I understand. I mean, at its absolute simplest form, I mean, it's the same way. And I look back at the fact that when I was working at an IT company and they were trying to work out how they can convince their customers, or explain to their customers even, or potential customers, what the cloud is. And you know what? The cloud is the most simple thing in the world. It's a server that you don't have at your house. Like a hard drive that you don't have at your house that just holds your data. It's if you're using Facebook or MySpace or whatever, you're using cloud storage. It's as simple as that.
AWS. I mean, it's the biggest. The whole AWS. Most things run off of Amazon's servers.
But when people look
including the Amico games.
To this and really dig deep into this, it can get confusing, but at its absolute simplest form, you tap this game, it downloads.
Tap it and it downloads.
Oz Retro Comp says that's what a good interviewer does. Let the guests put their case forward for the viewer to form an opinion without it being clouded by the interviewer's opinion. Yeah. Well, let me know when we get a good interviewer. Yeah.
And if you want to get rid of it and you want to sell it, you can do it.
So I suppose have you done that in a way?
Sorry. On the Run Again says he spent all his money on Wonka tickets. We're sending all the Wonka bars as we've seen before.
To actually, wow, I've got number 3. It's worth more than yours. Want to buy number 3? You've done it for that reason.
That's the cool part about the block.
These things will be worth fuck all. Good God. Who would want to buy these apart from the Amico cult? And they've already bought multiple copies already. There's not many left of the Amico cult. It's pretty much DJC, who also, I understand, travelled down to that one of those Massachusetts events. I think they did one in the morning, one in the evening, or afternoon on the Sunday, November 14th. And that's the only footage I've seen so far that I showed earlier. It's just, there's no one left to buy these things. And those who are going to buy it have bought it, so who are they going to sell it to? That's the point.
Chain aspect of it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, let's look at these games.
It'll mint you a new serial number in the order that and it downloads. And if you want to get rid of it and you want to sell it, you can do it.
So I suppose have you done that in a way to actually, wow, I've got number 3. It's worth more than yours. Want to buy number 3? You've done it for that reason.
That's the cool part about the blockchain aspect of it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, let's look at these games.
It'll mint you a new serial number in the order that you've first used it.
What? What the fuck does that mean? You buy something, it has a serial number. The serial number doesn't fucking change. I'm looking at my PlayStation 5 right now, the serial number on that doesn't change. It doesn't change when I switch it on. So what the fuck is he on about? He's just talking out of his fucking arse again.
So it's not going to be the order on, like, for instance, I've bought these before other people. If I don't tap these before other people, they're going to get ahead of me.
Correct. You could.
You bought the. Oh, hang on.
For other people, if I don't.
So
it's not going to be the order on, like, for instance, I've bought these before other people.
So Slope says he bought those before other people. He said before he got them for free from Tommy, and now he's saying he's bought them. Interesting. That's very strange. Why would he let that slip? Why on earth would he say that? Anyone? Bueller? I'm just making a note about that. I might put that in my description. So that's at 106.37 or just before that. He's bought them rather than got them for free. That's bizarre. He said he got them for free from Tommy before. God, why? I think I should be surprised about the fact that I'm surprised when this whole thing's just a fucking joke anyway. But yeah, so see if I'm getting windy pops again. So Slope says he's bought them, even though let's just play that again. Even though he said he got them for free before. Let's have a look.
Number in the order that you've first used it. Which
yes,
is
so it's not going to be the order on, like, for instance, I've bought these before other people.
Bought.
If I don't tap these before other people, they're going to get ahead of me.
Correct. You could be number 2.
Unless you're speaking figuratively. Either he's let something slip, or he's possibly talking figuratively, where he's just saying, if I've bought these before other people, then I sell them on. talking general. I can. It's a stretch, but he could clarify. Unless he clarifies it soon, but he could clarify that those are the free ones, unless he bought them. The plot thickens.
Because I'm going to be number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Okay, so awesome. We'll move on then to games a little bit. Don't worry, we'll come back to some other more hard-hitting questions as it goes on. But
when do we get in the first one?
The harder, the better.
Yeah, so let's talk about the big ones that interest me primarily.
Okay.
Earthworm Jim. That was one of the big reasons I pre-ordered this thing.
Really? Well, the Founders Edition was okay. They mentioned Earthworm Jim at that time, but there was nothing of Earthworm Jim when the Founders Edition pre-order came up, as far as I'm aware. I'd have to think back in my memory, but I know that it had mentioned Earthworm Jim, but not. I don't think we've seen any footage of it. Even then, we've only seen 5 seconds of footage anyway, so we may as well not seen any footage anyway.
Yeah, for people that don't know, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, I am a pre-order on Fig back in 2019, I think it was. And yeah, obviously I'm keeping my...
rub it in, Dan, rub it in. No.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the way I see it is...
2019,
Fig is the same as Republic, so that's the investor website. And Slopes is definitely not an investor, as he says. So why do you pre-order on Fig? You pre-order on the Amico website. I don't get that. If anyone can explain that, that's why you would pre-order the Amico through Fig, aka Republic, the investor website, and then you're not an investor. Someone please explain that in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that, definitely. Tell us something about Earthworm Jim first, though. Anything about Earthworm Jim. That was announced back in May of 2019, and since then, there's been about a 30-second clip, which I have been told isn't gameplay footage. It's a demonstration of what it will look like.
That's all there is.
Well, I mean...
Is it gameplay footage? Tell me if I'm wrong.
It could be. I mean, it's gameplay footage.
Oh God, it could be. It may be. It might not be. Possibly, maybe.
I mean, it's us playing the game. Moving.
So that is actually someone with an Amico controller running left and right on the beach.
Yeah, that was.
You lying bollock, Tommy.
Game. Moving.
So that is actually someone with an Amico controller running left and right on the beach.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
That was run off of an Amico. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was taken from it.
Liar.
Whether is the exact beach going to look exactly like that? No, well, I'm not going to. Again, let me preface it by saying, but yeah, no, that wasn't a cinematic. That was.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression it was.
No.
Be the worst fucking cinematic I've ever seen. Jesus Christ.
I'm glad you asked that question. No, there was real-time lighting going on there.
Real-time lighting. It was just like a cartoon kind of thing. There's no lighting on there. It's not fucking RTX graphics card, is it?
That was done in an engine, oddly enough, that was originally created for a Disney game. That was done in an engine, oddly enough, that was originally created for a Disney game.
Tommy just looks like he's looking off camera for his long list of lies to chip in another one.
That Mike Dietz and Ed Scott, like that, the Earthworm Jim team, after Shiny, a lot of folks went to work with Doug at Neverhood, but then they started another company, and they had a big contract with Disney, and of course all these great. And by the way, also need to also. Make sure people know that run animation, that all that animation and stuff, that was all hand done as well.
So they just, oh God, does it matter whether it's just? They just do it in a computer anyway. So They're not going to sit there with it's not Dragon's Lair or Space Ace with Don Bluth actually physically drawing animations like you get on an old style Disney cartoon. It's all done on a computer, hand drawn my ass.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
Important to know that. I'm glad you asked that. So yeah, if people think that was just a cinematic, no,
I was
not
under
at
the
all.
impression it was. I was under the impression it was.
that was real gameplay footage, and again, real time lighting. It was all happening in real time.
That's the shittest gameplay then.
So tell us something about it. What's going on? Because since then, since May of 2019, there's not been
quiet.
any.
Yeah. So I mean, I can tell you that a bulk of the design. So what's the hardest part of doing a video game? There's the ideas, there's the art, there's the ideas / design, there's the art, there's the controls, there's the audio. We have a bulk of the design stuff and the jokes
And the slower he's talking, the more lies he's spinning.
the humor. I'll give you a little insight, Dan, on Earthworm Jim, on how we created the original games. And I think it'll make more sense to folks out there in
Well,
regards
it's the original
to the new
team,
one.
so you're going to be doing it the old school way, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. So it was 10 of us in a room, all trying to make each other laugh. We didn't have a game design document for Earthworm Jim 1 or Earthworm Jim 2. We just came up with jokes. Hey, wouldn't it be funny if at the beginning of the first level, a chicken got launched up in the air and it went "Bakak!" And then every level you saw a chicken, and then somebody said, well, chickens are funny and "Bakak!" is funny, but it's even more funny because chickens kind of fly. Let's do a cow. Oh my God, a cow. That would be hilarious.
God. So we're going to have flying cows. Flying cows in Earthworm Jim 4. Oh God. It's just disaster. It's got disaster written all over it. Just throwing cows up in the air for no reason whatsoever. Good God.
Yes, because no one would ever expect to see a cow fly. So let's do that. Okay, that's funny. But okay, how are we going to launch a cow? Because they're heavy. It's not like Jim could just jump on a
It's a game. It's not reality.
teeter-totter and have them go up. Well, what if Jim shot something heavy and then that came down and okay, cool. Well, what's heavy? Well, maybe should we make it cars are heavy, or a rocket, but why would there be a car hanging? How about a refrigerator, an old refrigerator? Refrigerators are funny because you wouldn't expect to see that. And
So you wouldn't expect to see a car, so they don't have cars, but you wouldn't expect to see a fridge either, but they have a fridge. Tommy's making this shit up on the spot.
well, okay, but why would there be an old refrigerator hanging around? Well, because we're in a junkyard. Boom. That's how we designed Junkyard Level 1 Earthworm Jim. We didn't sit down ahead of time and say, hey, a cool background would be a junkyard. We started with the joke and then created everything around the joke.
No, you just made this up right this very second.
Right? So, so we have jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes of stuff, and that are freaking hilarious and that utilize
Such as
the uniqueness of the Amico controller.
Oh.
Yeah.
There were so many things that we wanted to do back in the day that we never could because we had 3 buttons and an 8 directional D-pad.
Yeah, well, you can use. Well, a lot of games use D-pads. Well, you've got analog controllers now and things like that. What can't you do with that? But then you don't need that for just a game where you're just basically jumping left and jumping right. It says on there, Dave's Gaming, I loved hearing Ashton's talk about the physical product, but then again, all he ever does is he just buys shit from Wish and then makes a video around that, which is pretty fucking lazy.
That was it. That was the Genesis, right? And Mega Drive. That's what we had. We were, but there were so many funny things that we wanted to do. And then add in the fact that now you can have multiplayers and everybody has a screen and there's a microphone and a speaker and a this and that. Now, Dan.
Why would you need that in Earthworm Jim? A speaker and a microphone and all the rest of it. You don't. Again, they're just overcomplicating it, and that's why they're just delaying it. It's never coming out, and they'll just wait until they've run through all the money, they've burnt the money they've got available, bar what they've stashed away, and then they'll just call time on this whole thing.
I told you offline, one of the very funny things that we're putting in the game that can only be done on an Amico controller. Now, without saying what it is, because I swore you to secrecy, and no, you didn't have to sign an NDA, do you think that is unique and very funny? You can be honest.
The question time's turned around now, but yeah, it's very, very Earthworm Jim. I'll say that.
Okay.
It's very, very typical Earthworm.
So he tells random people on the internet certain things that he doesn't tell his investors or people who pre-order the console. Stay classy, Tommy.
Jim.
And so this is the type of things that we're doing. So from that regards, a lot of the fun stuff is done. Now, are we actively, is the entire Earthworm Jim team actively working on art and animations and stuff? No, we're not. Because our biggest focus right now, because again, we're, most of the Earthworm Jim team are employees of Intellivision or are contracted by Intellivision, and we're doing a bunch of other stuff for launch to make everything as cool and fun and funny as it could possibly be.
What a load of absolute word salad that is. Just where are we? ATM says, I told you offline so you'll feel special. Yeah, that's exactly what Tommy's done. Tommy's just sort of making Slopes feel good about himself, that he seems to know something that other people don't, when Tommy's just made this shit up on the spot. And also, instead of answering your question, I'll ask you a question to distract. So yeah, it's just all more smoke and mirrors. So are there people working? Is the entire team actively working on Earthworm Jim? No. Do we have the basis of everything, and is everything ready to hit the ground running after we launch? Yes. There's gameplay, show it. Nothing is ready for this. Nothing whatsoever. Absolute crap.
And I've always said from the beginning that Earthworm Jim is always going to be a game that comes out a year or so after we launch the console, right?
Sure. Okay.
Well, if you've delayed, if you're planning to have it coming out a year after the console's original launch, then surely, since you've delayed the console by over a year, surely the game's ready now. It's more bullshit from Tommy.
And the reason we always said that is it's because that reason that we need to finish the console and everything associated with that, and the pack. Like right now, some of the teams are working on some of the games in our launch window to make those graphics as great as they can be.
So they've taken people off Earthworm Jim to concentrate on games people don't care about. Yeah, really, you should have. Excuse me. Really, you could have had Earthworm Jim ready by now, ready for the launch, if this was ever going to happen. And they could, never mind them, focusing on this little crappy game and that little crappy game. You could have just had them making Earthworm Jim, so that becomes a launch title. That's what you should have fucking done. But then he has no intention of releasing this at all, and Slopes let it pass once again.
To add little effects, to change this little menu screen that we're not 100% happy with. So doing stuff like that, that's a big focus of where we're doing. I can't wait to show people the UI, the user interface.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to be asking. That is one of the almost the biggest complaint, the fact that we haven't seen anything like that yet, and the system originally was going to be
because they've not built it
out by this point, and yet we still haven't seen any kind of UI.
Yeah, well, and the reason for we have. I mean, we've shown versions of it along the way. We showed a version of it a year and a half ago. We showed a working version of it a year and a half ago. We showed a working version of it in January of this year. If you go back and look on our Astro Smash gameplay video, you'll see me messing around, in there. We've
if that's all it is, and it's nothing to get excited about.
Privately shown people in May, in June, when we've had certain Amico gatherings, and we do these live tests where we show it working, we show the effects, we show it downloading games, we show all that thing,
And Easy G says the same thing I've just said. That's stupid, especially because they've delayed it. Earthworm Jim 4 is the only killer IP on the Amico. That game should have been greenlit for day one for launch. Yeah, so they've had the time. It would have been out by now had the Amico come out in October 2020, because we're now in November 2021. So why isn't it ready as a launch game? Smoke and mirrors, bullshit.
To private groups of people, but those groups of people and YouTubers have said, I've seen it, it's great, it works.
Liar.
So again, don't take our silence as, oh my God, it's broken, it doesn't work, this and that.
Well, we also have your lies as well.
What the delays have afforded us to do is add a bunch of different stuff, to add, to touch up.
Stuff that nobody asks for. He's just more smoke and mirrors, more talking out of his arse. ATM says if they can't get a UI out in 2 years, how are they going to get Earthworm Jim out in less than a decade? Exactly.
Up things to make things even more alive-like, or things like that.
God.
He's
talking about embellishments on what they've already got planned. I mean, that's stuff that you could just, if you really were going to do all that, you could just do that on the fly anyway and drop them in as an update later on. You don't have to delay the console just for that.
When you talk about UI and user interface, Sony updates theirs, Nintendo updates theirs, Microsoft updates theirs. Firmware is constantly being updated, right?
It is, yeah.
Oh, look, there's a new section in my PlayStation 4 menu now that wasn't there last month. Holy crap, right? So these types of things are always being worked on. Things are always added. So when people ask me, when's the UI going to be finished? When the console, in 10 years from now, I guess, when the final version of the firmware is updated, right? So you're always adding to it. Now, is the UI in a
10
place
years.
where
10 years, brilliant.
it's usable? Sure, absolutely. It's been like that for a year. Why don't we want to show it?
Rich Hall says, it's a shame it sounds like what would be a system seller is sitting idle as a post-release project. If the system doesn't sell, then the game won't get made. Terrible prospect. Exactly. So even if this does come out, which it won't, then the console doesn't sell, the game doesn't get made or doesn't get released. So it's just bullshit.
Well, because we see this in the games we show. People demand, you have to show us game. We want to see more in-depth gameplay video. We want to see more in-depth gameplay. We want to do this. We want to see that. We want to see that. So fair enough. I get it. I love that people are excited. So let's take Astro Smash as an example. So we show Astro Smash gameplay last January. It wasn't completed and final, right? It was like 90%, 95% done. But again, the last things when you work on game development is the polish, is all the little subtle things that just make it all come together.
Irrelevant.
So now we have the game and it's finished. And we'd like to show that gameplay footage in a finished state. But you know what everyone says? you better not show Astro Smash. You already showed that a year ago. Blah, 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 blah. You know, so again, we've stopped doing things because the people who are following it are demanding us to do things. We have a timeline. We still don't know exactly when the first hardware units are going to be out on the market.
It's
12th of never.
someone, a question in the comments right here has actually said, like, have you got a rough idea when this thing is actually going to be released?
12th of never.
A rough idea? Sure. Q1 of 2022.
Okay.
2022, next time it comes around.
And we hope to have good news and more information about that over the next 7 to 10 days. So,
Well, as I put this, in fact, as I this interview came out on the November the 6th, so it's probably made a day or two earlier. It's now November the 15th. Obviously, I'll put this up in the morning, so it'll be 16th when it goes out. So we're past 7 to 10 days, and there's still no information. So tell me, bullshit man.
sign up to our mailing list because those people will be getting the information first. And I can say with confidence that I'll say over the next 2 weeks. How about that? Just to give myself some room. But I'll say
Hedging his bets. Jacob Livingston, there is a lie in this interview. Only one. There's no extra data on the RFID card other than the URL you get for a reader. I sacrificed Brain Jewel and peeled the card layers apart to confirm.
over the next 2 weeks, we'll be having, we'll be making we'll be giving information, updated information. And
just another good one from ATM. You should Astro Smash for 30 minutes at Gamescom and then nothing else. It's obvious that that's all they have finished after 3 years. Exactly.
And again, to us, it's good news. So, so yeah, so that's something there.
Okay, so obviously we've gone off a little bit there, and I
so
do
we're
want
going to be showing the UI
in a couple of weeks.
I will say again,
So we've gone from 7 days to 10 days to 2 weeks to
I don't want to get myself into any things because
so he's just backing away from that now as well. He's just realised he's said something he shouldn't have said, and now he's put himself up shit creek.
Fair enough. Fair
something
enough.
could change next week. Let's say by the end of the year.
Fucking hell. So this is recorded probably November 3rd, 4th. He said, yeah, we'll have some information in 7 to 10 days, or maybe 2 weeks, maybe the end of the year. That's all within the space of about a minute or two. Fuck me.
Well,
Okay.
and it's probably
And Slopes just lets it slide again.
going to be much
Hopeless.
sooner than that. But let's say by the end of the year, we'll be doing a whole walkthrough video of the UI, how it works, the coolness of it, all that stuff.
Well,
We'll
that's not
Liar, liar, pants on fire, Tommy.
long. I mean, it's November now, so
yeah, 6
Sure.
weeks, right?
So, I mean, you've jumped a bit forward there, and there's some of the later stuff I was going to ask you, but I know someone. Well, firstly, can you give a shout out to the Game Librarian? He seems to be one of your biggest fans in my
the
chat
Game
right
Librarian. I don't.
No, Game Librarian. I've seen him on the comments on some of the Amico videos, and he just basically, it's like it may as well be a sensible Tommy replying that they just put out a lot of pro Amico comments without any basis for anything happening, but just saying, and I say sensible even though nothing about the Amico is sensible. Just basically say, oh yeah, this will definitely happen and that will definitely happen. Basically, like they sound like a corporate shill. So they are a fucking joke. But it's like if you took Tommy without the nonsense and just claiming to give answers that it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. It's like being on the Titanic and then saying, yeah, everything's going to be fine, when you know damn well it's not going to be. So, that's the Game Librarian.
Know who this person is, but I do see that he leaves very positive comments on our YouTube videos. And he's also, what's great about the Game Librarian.
Some good comments on here. Just F1 JV, what happened to October, November, new gameplay videos. Geek Getaway Tom said we would have 10 videos in September. ATM just a few weeks ago. Tommy said Shark looked rough, and Tommy said, "How dare you judge something that's not done?" Yes, it's not yet finished. And Jacob Livingston, more info is always mentioned to be coming in 2 weeks. Trump used the same tactic. And if you've ever seen The Money Pit with Shelley Long and Tom Hanks, whenever they ask when the house will be ready, the answer is always 2 weeks. It's like Total Recall, 2 weeks. It's just everything's ready in 2 weeks, and then the house just takes forever to actually get finished. But at least the house did get finished. But the answer is always 2 weeks. But then that is like talking to a builder anyway. It's best when you have a builder. It's best just not to expect too much. Just hope it will be done, and just don't expect too much.
Librarian is that I see, like, whenever there's some misinformation that kind of gets out there, he's so up to date on his information that I've also seen him on like live streams, Amico things, where he actually comes in and kindly corrects people to say, actually, that's not true. Here's this.
He definitely seems like a very big.
He sounds like a fucking sucker ass
fan.
Sounds like those people who tried to be like school prefect, back in the day when you're in school, and then the kind of people you just think, oh, do fuck off and stop sucking the teacher off. That's what school prefects are like. That's what this librarian chap sounds like.
Without a doubt. So, but he's in there.
Well,
he's asking questions.
Someday.
He's sometimes answering them before you you answer
he knows
them.
A lot of great info, which is great.
And he hasn't asked for a shout out, but I was like, this man, he seems to be in a lot of the comments.
Shout out to the Game Librarian. I appreciate you being an informative person and willing to engage people and give out honest information. I appreciate that.
No, that's cool. Okay, so he has actually asked a question. When will the Founders Edition be released? But I'm assuming that's probably going to be this.
I think I'll stop after this, after we get the answer to this one, because it's coming towards the end of this particular video. But
similar answer.
The Founders Editions will be released first. The people who ordered the Founders will get them first.
Well, that's the one thing we can believe in. But when?
Before anyone else, that I can guarantee. I do not have
a date.
I honestly, I don't have a date on that. I can tell you that. Well, see, I don't want to say that too if it doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't have an
it's fine.
date.
He asked that question.
We've made the mistake, Dan. We've made the mistake 3.
Jacob Livingston says he also has a visible tell when lying, face and neck touching in every interview.
3 times in the past where we're like, you know what? Boom. We think, or we know that we can hit that date. And then stuff in the world happens and it's like, oh crap. Okay.
Oh, chip shortage.
Hey, we didn't realize that stuff was going to happen. We shouldn't have said that date. But
yeah, because all the chip shortages, that stopped any more PlayStation 5s coming out, or Xbox Series X, or any Evercade Versus. Yeah, they never came out, did they? Ugh, rolls eyes.
But let's say the next date now, because we know for sure we'll be able to hit that if the world stays the same. And then the world changes again. And it's like, oh my God, okay, if we knew now what we knew, if we knew now what we knew back then, no. What I'm trying to say is,
if we knew then what we knew now.
Thank you. Or if we knew now what we knew then, or what we didn't know then. That's what I'm trying to say.
Fucking hell, it's like Donald Rumsfeld with his there are known knowns and there are known unknowns and unknown knowns, and Donald Rumsfeld had his bum felt, and yeah, and Tommy sounded like a politician.
If we knew now what we didn't know then, we would have never have given a second date.
Right, okay, no, that's fair enough. People were asking her phone.
Right, just, we're 1:23:44, so we've got another hour and 20 of this still to go. So I'm going to call time on that. So if this was an episode of Nightmare, we just go DISMISS after a bong. So yeah, that's another almost half an hour there of Tommy's bullshit. So kind of had enough of that for now, and I'm going to set this video rendering, and then I'll upload it, and it can render while I'm making dinner, and then I'll put it online, and then it'll be available in the morning, for people to watch, and you'll be able to see this happening, on the internet, So anyway, please like this video, and share it, and share it with people, and chip shortage, head explodes. Cue Genesis.